Mm, Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Watch this, y'all. Ooh, you've been hit by a smooth criminal. What's up? What's up? How y'all like that anniversary song coming through? Welcome, welcome, welcome to our 54th, that's right, 54th episode of The Dumbest Shit That People Say About Black Hair. Y'all know who it is. It is I, your homegirl, Ladosha Wright, aka Keith Lolo. And y'all know who that is over there, right? With that sporty orty. They don't know about sporty orty. They don't know about sporty order. If you know about sporty order, come on and hit that chat before I put that. If you know about sporty order, they like that. Don't your ass old. So anywho, my sporty order PNC. That's partner in cosmetology, the one and only, the unapologetically brilliant Cheryl Morrow. You have just clicked in to America's favorite podcast about hair, Afro hair in particular, Larry. The dumbest who that people say about black hair. What's up? Y'all must have been ready for our 1 year anniversary. What's up? Oh, y'all so sweet. Oh, Danny. Hey, Danny. You know I was wearing this hat for you. I just want to let you know, Danny, I'm getting it together, okay? So what's up, my BFF? Is it y'all love the hats? What's up, my BFF? ATL is representing, baby. Sister Naya Kobe, you know how much I love you. Thank you so much. We're going to play our music, our theme song, as we wait for some wonderful people to come to the chat. And this is by the one and only. We're talking about Rachel Evans, and it is called Sister, Let Me Do Your Hair. Okay, here we go. Let's get ready. Here we go. Hey. They don't want none. Come on, y'all get that. Put y'all lighters up. Put y'all red lighters up. Hey.
Sister, you are beautiful, respectful,
Hey.
special. You are wonderful. I want to help you. Let me help your light to shine through. I'd be so very
Very happy if you
would let me do your hair.
Who's gonna let me do that hair tonight? Sister Naya Kobe, can I do your hair?
Let me do your hair.
Rashida, I'm always doing your hair.
Let me do your hair.
That just leaves Danny. I'm sorry. Danny, you're the only one. You are Sister Naya Kobe.
Let me do your hair.
Hey.
Sister, survivor of what you've been through.
We got the line dance king in the house. What's up, Cheryl? When the line dance king come through, I'm telling you, you are moving and shaking. Y'all go check out my good friend Robert Johnson Jr.
Let me help your light to shine through. You'll be so very happy if you would let me do your hair.
Now, if you don't have any hair, we do rub bald heads.
Let me do your hair.
Okay.
Let me do your hair. Let me do your
All right, excuse me. I in the chat, Cheryl. Robert Johnson Jr. said, "Come rub his bald head at the line dance tonight." I love this podcast. I don't see nothing funny. I really don't. Mr. Robert Johnson, I will come and get some bald head rubbing going on. This is why we are just having this wonderful, wonderful, cool podcast. Again, it's all about the dumbest that people say about black hair. And boy, do we have a wonderful, wonderful discussion for everyone in the chat. Take a few moments out and hit the thumbs up button, and we love the interaction in the chat because it helps gets us in those algorithms. We hate to have to keep saying that. I feel like it's a station for identification or something like that, but anywho, y'all help two sisters out, and again, you are to Cheryl and I, and we're going to have a wonderful topic. What's the topic tonight that we are going to be talking about? Going to be about locks and scalp. So if locks, you have them and you're concerned about your scalp or you're wondering, we've got some wonderful clips and some wonderful tips, some wonderful nuggets, and that's what's going to be happening. We also have some trivia. Will get you some prizes, and the trivia is about who came ideal for the dumbest that people say about black hair. Y'all better get this answer right, because y'all know it's either going to be me or it's going to be Cheryl, and I want y'all to know y'all better get this answer right, okay? Y'all hear that right? Y'all got it right? Okay, I just want to make sure y'all get it right. Okay, so Cheryl, before we hop into the topic of scalp care, let's just talk a little bit about the Afro Hair Summit, because we are making some waves. I know people are like, enough of the hell ever talk about the damn summit. Okay, so let's I a clip here that I created. Cheryl gonna be like, you go, Dosha. So I made this. This is about the summit, and we're gonna unpack.
Uh-oh. We'll have to wait until she gets back here. Come on, Ladosha. Key Lolo. Where's my partner in crime? Itchy, dry, inflamed scalps and locks is today's subject. Where is Miss Key Lolo? We'll wait for her to come back in. Wow, guys, she must have really got disconnected. Hey, Danny, Rashida, Kobe, Robert Johnson, miss you work 14 days straight and come see me tonight. Frozen, you handle it. Are you talking to me, Mr. Johnson? I don't know what's going on with Miss. Miss Key Lolo. Let's see what we doing. Let's see what we doing. Let's see. Hey, Danny, I am well. I don't know if you guys can. I haven't never had a. Hey, AJ. Hi, Miss Cheryl. I am doing well. Hey, Robert. Never had a show without Miss Key Lolo. Let's see what we got.
I don't know. It's like my internet. I'm trying to hook it up to my phone internet.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all waiting. Mr. Kofi is on. Danny's on. Everybody's on. Waiting for it. The host.
All right. Let's see if we can come back in. Here we go.
Let's come back in.
All right. Here we go.
LaDosha is
Bill! What
There she go.
Here I am. I don't know what's happened. I swear I paid my electricity bill. But anywho, we apologize for the snafu. Where was I? I know it's the end. You know why they're just trying to shut us down, but that's
Right.
okay. We are back. What's up, Sandra? Oh, I'm right in time. Sandra came through. Okay, all right, Danny. You have to go. You're going to follow up with us later. No problem. No problem. So we were going to go ahead on and get the live started because I have this wonderful clip. We're going to start off with the Afro Hair Summit. So let me get this clip going. And we're going to get some conversation going about the Afro Hair Summit. Now, this isn't official. I just kind of put this together. And
I can't wait to see it.
Okay, here we go. Get ready, guys. Give me some feedback. Give me some feedback. Here we go. The Afro Hair Summit is happening this summer in July in Cleveland, Ohio. Whatever you think you know will be turned on its head, so be prepared.
Especially when you teach Afro cosmetology, you have to teach it from a historic, a genetic, and an anthropologic perspective.
Saturday, the event begins with West African braiding métier. Saturday evening, a free public forum around Afro hair spirituality. The learning continues at the Brown Nevada Institute, Strongsville, with Salon Métier. That afternoon, a free community town hall public forum around Afro hair. Monday concludes with a professional development in Afro cosmetology. The time is now. Save the dates. Be a part of this. Anniversary. Do you know what today is? Do you know what today is? It's Aura. My family is from Memphis, Aura. It's our anniversary. What's up, Kofi? Kofi Books is going to be there. Kofi cannot make it, but he said he will send some books.
Aww.
So we're definitely going to go ahead on and have some books here from Mr. Kofi Pie Sister Nia Kobe. You liked it? Okay, that means it's time for me to change my brim. Don't worry, because I'm going to change my brim every time we change stuff. Here we go. Bam! Baby, it's our anniversary. I'm going to go my girl to the hook that. I'm going to ride to the can't. What y'all know about that? Y'all wasn't ready for the. I don't even know the words to the song. Did y'all hear the way I said it? I'm gonna hum chong chong when the why. Anyhow, so let's go ahead on and let's show them a little bit about the Afro Hair Summit. I got some pictures for each day. So Cheryl, let's talk a little bit about the West African. Is it going to show it? I don't know what's wrong with this thing today. Anywho, there it is. So we got Afro hair spirituality. So first, before we do that, let's talk about the West African métier. So, what is that, and who's going to be a part of the West African hair braiding métier? Okay, what is that? That's day
Well,
one.
right. First of all, I'd like to invite the Senegalese community and the West African community and the hair braiding whole diaspora, because that is not my expertise, but we have an expert coming in. And so all of you guys can understand why I named the whole process métier. And métier is a French word for high art, higher learning. And so we're going to get into a whole new framework, and this is reserved for hair braiders and African hairstylist enthusiasts, historians, and people who want to know information and all that good thing. And so, and it's very important that we get this braiding because we do more than cornrow and French braiding, and there's
Mm,
more to the science than just those two techniques. And so we're going to be, and I'm going to be a student. I have to say, I'm not teaching that one. I'm going to be in the audience, writing notes,
right,
learning.
right.
Okay. So
Yes, yes. So we
we
want you
don't know, we going to know.
That's
We
right.
do.
We want you guys to understand that Afro Hair Summit, number one, it is not a black thing. It's a all people thing. This is not a hair show. It's not a trade show. We're not going to try to sell you any products. We're not going to try to sell you any styling tools. We promise you. But we will have a book bar. So this is for the hair nerds. You're new, you're an expert, whatever you call yourself. This is for everybody. And I know you're wondering, well, who's going to be teaching West African hair braiding métier? That is going to be brought to you by none other than all the way from West Africa. That's right, Fatou Gay. Isn't this amazing, guys? It keeps getting better. So she's coming in from West Africa, the Gambia, and she is going to be teaching some wonderful braiding techniques. So get ready, all you natural hairstylists. Y'all been cussing me out and everything. We have something for everybody at this event. So day one starts off with West African braiding métier. Cheryl is going to teach the properties of the scalp, and then Fatou is going to go straight into braiding, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. The tickets are not on sale yet, but stay tuned, Daddy. You got VIP all access. That's day one. Now, part two of day one is Afro hair spirituality. This is free. The West African braiding course is for professionals only. That's not open to the public, but the Afro hair spirituality that works, that form is free. So talk about what that's about.
I think that it's important that because culture is not just our pathos or logos, it is our internal ethos, how we feel, our emotional health, our mental health, our spiritual health, our physical health. And we need to understand hair as part of a body system, but more importantly, as an emotional system and as an ancestral system and as a spiritual system. And so we're going to be able to have a day where we can peel all of those apart, peel all those aspects apart, give those separate parts principles and scientific fact and spiritual and psychological fact. It's very important that we get the facts right and we get the culture right and we get what these things so we can apply them all into one, bring them into our African center, and then be able to peel out. And then while we're there, some people may want to elevate and teach one part. The other one may want to teach it historically. The other one may want to teach it spiritually. And so, but we are going to come together and to make sure we are on a set of truths that are not just uh, randomly thought of, like most people want to do on YouTube. You know, they just start shouting out a bunch of things. We're going to just talk about them, make sure. And as professionals, we're going to not just self correct, we're going to converse and try to get on a consensus. It's not that things are wrong. We may have one person may bring a certain part of aspect, and the other person brings the other aspect. But what we're going to do is talk about how the ancestral and cultural and spiritual and psychological aspect is important and bring those all together to make one African center.
That's day one. Okay, that's going to be on Saturday. Now on Sunday, we're going to go right, y'all. I'm telling y'all, better get ready. Save the date. We're talking about it starts July 15th. Professionals and the public, we got you covered. The professional stuff costs. The public stuff is absolutely free. And that was African hair spirituality. Day 2 is going to be on Sunday, and that is Salon Métier, and that will be held at the Brown Aveda Institute in Strongsville, Ohio. And this one, Cheryl is going to talk about what's going to happen at the Brown Aveda Institute. This one is for professionals only, and this is going to be the second day, that's Sunday. So let's talk about Salon Métier at the Brown Aveda Institute in Strongsville, Ohio.
Yeah. The Salon Métier was created about 15 years ago by myself, and taken from a set of principles from Dr. Morrow as it pertains to the daily work day of a cosmetologist as we apply it in the salon. So Salon Métier is going to be going on combing techniques, hair manipulation techniques, chair techniques, product techniques, problem solving techniques, business techniques, and things of that nature, consulting techniques, how to extract information, how to diagnose, how to prognose, just the chair. It is going to be specific to that art form and how to really get in, raise the level and scholar of the interaction between you and the client.
Wow. We're talking about Salon Métier, and this is coil mechanics. You guys are going to love this one. Now, part 2, okay, on Sunday, that one is for licensed professionals only, and that's going to be held at the Brown Aveda Institute in Strongsville, Ohio. Next up, we have part 2 that day for the public. This one you guys are going to love. How about a free, that's right, a good old-fashioned public town hall forum? We're going to have a discussion. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your concerns. We want to hear what would you like for us to do in the future. We're going to have some vendors there so you can do just a little shopping. So this is going to happen free. So Cheryl, talk about the public town hall, and why did you call it a town hall, not a debate, so on and so forth. Take it away about this public town hall.
And that's a very good point, how you entered that with not it being a debate. It's important that we allow the actual people who pay us to do what we do, and that is the consumer, the customer, and the client. And so we want to hear from them how we can better serve them, close the trust gap, get back into being the vanguards of the cosmetology, liberal arts, and the sciences, renew our commitment to the public, and to reassess, and to actually just listen, and to not be defensive, and to not blame anyone. And there's a lot of trends that are now prevalent, like coming to the salon with your hair already shampooed and things of that nature, that have grown popular. And, we want the public to kind of tell us and guide us back into some things that we probably need to be discussing and looking at. But it is a chance for us to reiterate and re-solidify our commitment to the public.
That's right. We're here to say we love you and we want to hear from you. So this is going to be a dynamic exchange to hear, like I said, some wonderful, vendors. And just to bring the kids out, this is the family event. It's unisex. It's black, white. It doesn't matter if you're an adoptive parent, maybe you're a judge, an attorney, a cosmetologist, cosmetologist, a cousin, a Shanae, a Betsy, whoever you are welcome to participate in the public town hall, and we are going to have a dynamic time. Now we're going to wrap up. The last day is going to be on Monday, and this is going to be at Space 65. This is the official day that Cheryl is going to really, really get us all educated around Afro cosmetology. So before we get into the topic tonight, which is about locks and scalp concerns, tell us all about Afro cosmetology that's going to happen on Monday, July 17th, right here in Cleveland, Ohio, at Space 65. This is an intimate setting. Again, this is not a hair show. This is not a trade show. We're not trying to sell you anything at all, but there will be a book bar with local authors from the industry to help get us ready to do more and do better behind the chair. So, Cheryl, what is Afro cosmetology? What can they expect on Monday, July 17th for licensed barbers and cosmetologists?
One of the things that I did want to note that Afro cosmetology is about 60 years old. It was created by Mr. Morrow. Willie Morrow created it the moment he told the whole entire Pentagon and the U.S. Armed Forces, and it started in Barbary. But the moment he told them that black men's skin is not the issue is that Afro hair is different. It grows different, it exists different, it behaves different. And so that was the premise. And it is actually Afro cosmetology is on the books in the Pentagon. And so that's when you hear me and LaDosha say that the Crown Act did not need to happen again. But anyway, but the difference is that we understand all of the bio sciences, all of the environment sciences, all of the dermatology sciences and scalp and skin sciences and hair sciences. We learn that from the dominant aspect of Afro curly hair. We don't learn it from the straight hair. That's what we call it, Afro cosmetology. So once we begin to adjust our thinking, adjust our feeling, adjust our knowledge, adjust our scholar and our information, we will then be learning things that we don't have to remember. Fact is fact and science is science. And once you know it, you know it. And so when we leave that building, it is my hope and my gift to the world, because it was Dr. Morrow's gift to the world, that we will be having information, communication, sophistication connected to the dominance and the beautiful, wonderful scientific principles of biology and science and cosmetics. Those things will be based on the Afrocentric perspective and not a straight hair perspective. And so we're all going to leave real enthused and excited, and we're going to leave scientifically correct. That's the point.
All right. So remember, save the dates. We're talking Saturday, July 15th through Monday, July 17th. And this is going to be the first ever 2023 Afro Hair Summit. All right. Okay. So now let's get into the topic. I gotta switch my hats. Don't worry, guys. I got y'all. Don't worry. It's our first anniversary. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? How y'all doing out there? How y'all like that lid?
But did you tell them about the after party?
The
Or is
after
that
party. Oh yeah, I didn't get to that. I was going to save that for later, but since she let the cat
oh,
out the bag, we are going to have an industry night, but that's coming up later. So you guys just stick around, and we've got so much. So let's hop into the topic today. It's all about locks and scalp care. I have a little clip to help get this going. Now, remember, guys, drop your questions in the chat. If you are watching this post live, Cheryl will come back through and answer any questions that you have. And again, the topic is about scalp care, specifically to locks. So let's see what we got. I put a little some clips together about scalp care. So let's see what I put here. Here we go, guys.
not enough to graduate, and because the learning curve is too long How many times have you heard a hairstylist say, I've been doing hair for 20 years? Never.
That's the wrong one. Let me try this one. Sorry.
The 2023.
Wrong one. Okay. Sorry, I don't have the right clip. Sorry, guys. Wrong clip. I'm a better hairstylist than I am a clip maker. Okay, so let's skip past those. Those were the clips that I thought I saved. So here we go. Let's hop right into scalp care with locks. And I have some images here that I want us to look at when it comes to scalp care. And this is what I see a lot of in the hair salon. So here we go. With no nothing specific in order, just some regular lock styles. So right there, Cheryl, one of the biggest concerns that people have about scalp care and locks, number one is the tightness. So let's begin, because we already know that lock styling, you have various techniques. You have palm roll, you can coil it, you can interlock it, using tools and things of that nature. You can also embellish your locks. You can add some faux locks, be it human hair or, synthetic hair. So we know that there are various methods that you can lock the hair. But the issue we're focusing on tonight is going to be the scalp. So that was a video that just has some snippets of scalp. So what is it in particular about locks and scalps that's different, let's say, from braiding or twisting?
That's a very good question. I do believe, unfortunately, that locks are created in a tendril, which means a single thread. And hopefully most of the African hairstyles, one, African hairstyles are interchangeable. It's a Western thing to use it as a protective hairstyle. That's a westernized concept, because the concept is Africa is braiding for art and artistic expression and cultural expression. I think we're doing that too, but we're also doing it as an answer because something else didn't work, or they're doing it to protect their hairstyle or their hair, or they're letting their hair rest, or they're doing something else. But one thing that's distinctive about Black scalps that is not going on with scalps that generate straighter and wavier textures is that Black hair follicles have to support a trifecta: a flatness, a coil, a symmetrical coil, but then it has to have the freedom to turn to make the coil.
Okay, so you're saying, let me pull these styles up. We just want to, because remember, we're focusing on scalps, and right. I see this a lot in the hair salon. So let's do this again. Can we talk over this clip, Cheryl? Are we able to do this?
Absolutely.
Okay. So as we look at some of the scalp issues that we see here, when you say the freedom to move, are we not seeing this in these hairstyles, or is the hair?
Yeah, but most people start their locks and they're short. So the length of time between maybe an inch and a half, 2 inches, all the way down to being 7 to 10 inches, and then sometimes 14 to 16 to 20 inches, they are going in a direction that is not natural to Afro textured hair.
So let's show this again. So you're saying this hairstyle is not natural to.
It's cultural. Make sure that we get that difference. It may be cultural, but the cultural hairstyles are supposed to be worn weekly. They're not. The lock is worn for years, so it is creating a retarded or malfunctional follicle, because the follicle could only house one hair. And then once you put additional weight on it, and see in one way, and you see the second picture that you put up when the woman is facing, you see the hairline, that one, the follicle nearest her forehead is now caught into a plait that is connected to about 200 hairs. And that one follicle is the anchor. So we at there also have to learn as well. Hopefully Fatu can bring this to the forefront, is that we have to create the actual plait has to be round so every follicle can shoulder the same weight. But once you start making the parts square and you start pulling one hair here and it's connected all the way, and the anchor lock is maybe 2 centimeters away from the epicenter, that is going to pop. And usually once that continues to happen, because hair is connected to the immune system, it is going to create a message to the and have an autoimmune effect, and then the follicles are going to get spaced further and further and further and further and further apart. So you've seen that in, let's just say, Susan Taylor's Essence magazine.
Oh,
You see,
I got you. Here we go.
Stevie
I got
Wonder.
you. So let's
It just
look
gets
at some. Yeah. So we're gonna see some. Let's see here. Here we go. I did bring up some celebrities so we could see here exactly.
Mm-hmm. No, actually, that was a very good one to make my first
There we
point.
go. So
Yeah.
here's Michelle Obama. She's starting her brace. There's Susan Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
To your point. Now here's Ashford and Simpson before the braids. Okay. And then I got her, with the braids. She started off with, then she went to the braids.
Mm-hmm.
Stevie Wonder came in with a nice heavy hairline. But then is this what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's the progression of the follicle imploding. It becomes that the body is the scalp is imploding. The follicle is swelling shut, and then the genetic cell mutation just doesn't work anymore because you've pulled it out, the genetic material, and that the follicle just malfunctions, and that it acts like he's naturally has a receding hairline. He doesn't have a natural.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So if we look at them again, like I'm concerned about, I'll be honest, I am concerned about the first lady's hairline. I can see her braid style here. And we could see, Mrs. Simpson's hair, and then now she's much younger here, but as we age, we do begin. I'm sure Stevie Wonder, clearly he was a lot younger, but then wouldn't you say that this is a part of a receding hairline?
No.
No. Wow.
No.
Wow.
Well, and let me just say this, because you see the inside of the locks have looked like his forehead. That is not a natural balding, or that's not a natural hair loss, or it's not a natural follicular degeneration. It's not just doing it naturally, it's doing it as opposed, and it's part of, wound healing. The body is trying to, is reacting to a wound, because afro textured hair must be free to twist as it grows up. And when you lock it down, it can't. And that's the way the locks are supposed to be worn, the way Bob Marley is wearing his. The whole scalp should shoulder the weight, not portions, not peeled apart. Because even though his locks are heavier, but his whole entire scalp is shouldering the weight of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Now, guys, please drop your questions in the chat. But let's say when we look here, I'm going to play this. I'm going to let this loop around again. So we see the free form. These are, these are your dreads, right? But wouldn't you say? Go ahead.
Yeah, and he does have them separated to certain effect, but the Jamaican or the original lock does not have it pulled at the scalp. You're supposed to have fuzz at the bottom because you're supposed to allow the hair to make a 360-degree turn, and that's the coil. The coil is not there because of texture per se. The coil is there because the hair is symmetrically coiling at the same space every coil. That's a turn. Most people think that that's a texture. It's not it is your texture once you have it in the length of something, but the texture
And once you get to here is
Mhm.
where you see the texture.
Right,
But you're saying at the scalp, right?
right.
We need to have each
It needs to be
individual strand
right,
needs to be free
right.
to coil
And,
or
and
wave or
yeah, and in our defense, because we made an industry out of it, now we're charging people to get their locks redone. That is the phenomenon and the start of hair loss with locticians.
Cheryl, here you go again.
Well,
Here you
one
go.
of the
You're
things at the
messing with
end
the
of the day,
church's money, Cheryl. I mean, these now I'm okay, guys. I do lots of locks. And I know you're not saying that those you don't do locks, but let me just give you the scenario. So
yeah,
here is what I tell my guests. I do. I tell all of my customers on their initial visit. This is what I say. I don't care how thick, how long, whatever. I only recommend that you wear this lock style no more than 10 to 12 years. You don't keep it that long. Number one, my first reason for telling them to not keep the hairstyle that long, specifically when you're coming in at like 40, because as you age, your hair gets thinner. I don't care. They don't, it's the truth. Your hair thins as you age, and you need hair to palm roll, lock, and you must have hair first. So that's my number one reason.
right.
Number two, that parting, I have seen it from my own experience when people, particularly my sister, she had the locks, but she cut them out and started all over. She went past that 12-year mark. To date, you can still see those parts in her hair, and she cut her locks and redid them twice. The second time she left them in a little bit longer. She was older, she was thinner, and now you can see the permanent parts in the scalp. So those are my top two reasons. One, just because as we age, we get older. Now I know a lot of people are like, oh, shut the hell up. Because I know somebody 75, 85 with locks down their back. And that's true, but it's not enough that I would promote it. So what do you say about people who are just like, girl, y'all tripping on this channel talking about, these lock styles that, you know.
Well, I don't make them the core of my subject matter, but they are a part of our culture, in our cultural identity, and the way we express ourselves and how we beautify ourselves. And some of them and our people have to have the choice. Our goal and our commitment as cosmetologists is to make sure that they do them safe, and they do them in a way that will not harm the scalp, not harm the skin, not be uncomfortable, not to give them discomfort. Okay. I want them to be able to wear them for years. The issue is that locks, the way they are commercially done to create a commerce, to have the customer come in every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks to get them redone. I don't even know what that means, but let's go here. Let's get to talk about the elephant in the room. Okay. The elephant in the room, Black people, you would not consider the way Bob Marley wore his locks as neat. Lie, don't say you do. You do not think that he should go to work at any office job, corporate job, or any place that you would want to be seen with him. You would think that that would be unkempt or not as neat You guys have created an industry that it creates an African or Afrocentric cultural hairstyle. And then what you guys have done is to created a method to make them neater. Now, what does neat mean in terms of the workforce? White. Make yourself look presentable. Make yourself look neat, because Bob Marley would not be welcomed at any, JP Morgan Chase or no bank or no hospital or anything, wherever you guys, you know what I mean, in the workforce. So out of that, we created Go Get Your Locks Redone. Well, if you go get your locks redone, we have to educate the lock client in other ramifications so we won't run into balding and follicular degeneration syndrome, discomfort, soreness, pustules, and other things on the scalp that may later create some discomfort and eventually hair loss. So we can do all of it. We just have to do it right, if that makes sense. Yes, and tight is linked to it to be neat and presentable and acceptable to white folks.
Right. So I'm with you, Zeta. What about, tight being right? Like, you want to get your locks, and I know they don't necessarily mean, I'm not going to go there and say we should just be locked until it's just tight. So when we say tight, we mean like, like redone, tight as a slang.
We're so gun shy on locks being a cultural hairstyle, but we want them neat. And to be it neat means that the follicle's going to suffer. But as cosmetologists, we have to tell our lock brothers and sisters who are lock clinicians or locticians, we have to tell them you have to do it to the scalp is for them to be conducive for scalp health, not for the ego of the client. Because
so let me show this here. So you're saying, because Zeta's in the chat saying, unfortunately, Mr. Marley would not be welcomed into the world of work in an operating room, whereas this style would be professional, right? Now this, where do we draw the line? If we look at Lil Wayne's hair, he went from one, and I'll let that loop back around. And I hear what you're saying. So we're trying to understand, because the corporate world is saying, listen here, Bob Marley, we get you on stage. We're all, one love. You shot the sheriff. We get it. We're still trying to do some gun control here, but this is what we're looking for. We can see this in court, in the operating room, but this here now, you guys are drawing the line. It's not a natural color. Oh my, we're unkempt. So where is the line drawn? Because now we're moving into the Crown Act, where they're saying, Lil Wayne, whether his hairstyle, I'm just going to go back again, guys, whether you're coming from here, he should be able to go into an operating room. He should be able to work at McDonald's. He should be able to pull you over. He's a police officer. He should too, okay? However, now we're concerned. I don't know about him. I don't know if I want him over my food. I don't know if I want him operating or examining me at my gynecological appointments, or at my dinner table. So now we're moving into the Crown Act. So where is the balance? Because the scalp, the conversation is about the scalp, but maybe in all of those examples, maybe in Lil Wayne's example, maybe he had a scalp condition and he couldn't,
well, here again, I think it is our responsibility to intervene and to steer him and or his hairstylist or hairstylists in general or locticians in general to be concerned. And that is why we are doing the Afro Hair Summit, so we can come together. And when we start seeing some mutations of some conditions and disorders, that is when we step in and say we're going to police ourselves and say, okay, we need to have a list of recommendations. We have to have a list of standards. We got to start having some help when the indication of the scalp is starting to do some things that are going to be detrimental to the clientele or to the population. And so it is our job to get on those set of truths when things like that happen. So cosmetology can come to an Afro Hair Summit and say, okay, this is what we're going to do when A, B, C, D, and E starts happening. We're going to reverse them. We're going to, and let me just say this, the political and social ramifications of how we need to answer private sector and public and private schools and things of that nature. That's one thing. But the other thing is that we have to have internal standards and things to be applied to us as professionals so we can offset some of the things that happen to our clients after they make the style choice. They make the style choice. Okay, you can't do this. You have to do this. You have to do this. Can't do that. We have to get them on something that's going to allow them to have a linear, more successful wearing of locks over the years. And like you said, you have a standard. After 5 years, you got to cut them because you can sit them on your shoulder, but once they start growing down, that is anti-afro for hair to go to the floor.
Okay, now wait a minute. What about straight hair then? I mean, my hair, this is not, let me tell you what happened. Let me get you guys ready. So I'm at this event over the weekend and I'm doing my spiel about, what we're talking about now. And the woman said to me, I am offended that you have, she doesn't know why I would even have the authority that I have, the esteem that I've been given, the awards that I've been given, because you have your hair straight. You are not natural. So my hair is growing down, and so would a locs person hair would be growing down. So for my scalp and the lock person who has, a scalp too, what's the difference between my hair growing down and then the lock person's hair growing down? Wait a minute. And then her hair. Becky, this is Nene with the good hair. And her hair. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just being a little shit starter. No, but seriously, though. So help us out with that. New hat. Time for a new hat.
Okay.
Time for a new hat.
Right. The difference is, first of all, when you get.
I feel like I'm having a funeral for my hair.
Take it off. Take it off. Take it off. Take it off. Come on, people. Tell her to take that.
Did y'all say take it off? Oh,
take it off.
I feel like
Let me answer the question.
long hair.
Let me answer the question.
Damn it, we just can't win in this country. But it's rag time. Okay, enough of that. Here we go.
There you go. Right. There you go.
Okay, so help us understand this.
The difference is when your new growth, let's say you get new growth, right? Okay. For us to understand, eventually your hair is growing down because, of course, you wear it, straight. But each follicle has its own hair, and it's not locked into a lock that is forcing. Put it this way: the way your hair is now, even though it's straight, your new growth is still free to curl.
But am I natural?
Now, that ain't the conversation. That ain't the question. Don't conflate the question. Okay.
My scalp. Okay.
Because that's how. Because see, when we get to class, when we get to Afro Hair Summit, I'm not going to let you conflate because we already confused. We got to stay on point. Okay. Now, the difference is that the way your hair is now, or any Afro hair that is free to just be, regardless if it's straight, doesn't make if you flat ironed it or whatever. It is like a standing tree. The problem becomes is when you lock that base of that tree and you pull it down the other way. When you pull a tree down the opposite way, guess what comes up? The roots come up.
Okay.
When you pull a tree down the opposite way, you pull the roots out. Now the roots are on top and the trees and the leaves are at the bottom. That is the same thing as what you're doing to an afro follicle, because it's supposed to be freestanding to twist and coil. You guys keep thinking the coil is in the DNA. Yeah, the coil's in the DNA, but it has to be free to twist. It's almost like this.
Okay, so let's say, but this, Cheryl, is the professional, or let's just say trending. I don't want to use words like professional.
No, it's a technique. It's a trendy technique that we've developed in the last 25 years.
Okay, but now what about this one here? So we would tell this guy in the salon it's
to keep
time
the
for
base of his hair fuzzy, plain and simple.
You would tell him to leave that fuzzy.
I would tell him to leave that fuzzy if he wants to have hair 15 years from now.
Oh, let me show it again. This hairstyle is okay for like special occasions, right? You got a wedding.
Right.
Okay, you got a wedding, a ball, a dinner. Go for it. You're going to be on TV. Okay, it's time for a hairstyle. This one, okay, too. She got the little coils in it. But for every day, you're saying this one is the preferred lock.
Yeah, because you're giving the muscle, the pili muscle within the follicle, you're giving it rest. You're giving it its natural way to be. You're giving it right.
So this is our muscle. Well, so you're saying that when we twist and lock hair, when we coil or palm roll or what's that thing, interlock, we're gonna pull this muscle. And you're saying that too much of tugging up here will affect this beneath.
Right. It's connected. Right. It's connected to a connective tissue. It's connected. Once you fracture that, okay, it's almost like this. You take your hat off, right? And you pull your hair over to one side, right? And then it wants to go back. That's what we call muscle memory. Okay.
Right.
So sometimes I wear my hair back in a chignon, but sometimes I have to once I take it out, guess what you say? You take your ponytail off, or you take a hat off. You can feel your circulation in you feel it actually. That's why it is not good to braid tight.
But hold on. But wait a minute now. Would you not say, rock with me, guys? Hold on. Now, there's this big thing where they want you to wait longer with your weaves, your sew-ins, and you're going to get that, because the scalp, this is a breakdown. I'm just exaggerating here, right, Cheryl? So this is to protect the scalp and the hair, right? So she's going to have this loop.
Well, who said that? Who said that?
They're saying it's a protective style because
protecting it from what?
This crap right here. Look at LaDosha's hair. This is the damaged hair.
No, that's not damaged.
Flat on it because this you can also mess up the scalp. Because remember, we're talking scalp and hair here. So if you go back to what you just said about when you release that ponytail, you're gonna be like, oh, that feels so much better. But you'll have a lot more hair than if you straightened it out.
Well, how did straight hair get in it?
Because remember, we're talking. I'm just using the straight hair as the opposite.
Okay.
That we're trying because the straight hair.
But locks is a scalp issue. Locks is not a hair issue. A relaxed hair, a straight hair, a flat iron hair, or heat applied hair, that is a hair issue. They're not the same issue. They are balding because of a genetic follicular malfunction, direction. That is the immune system reacting to something that is unnatural. Okay? And when I say unnatural, I'm talking about follicular naturality. I'm talking about science. I'm not talking about just because you want to wear a hairstyle. It is not natural. one hair, one follicle. Say it together, people. One hair, one follicle.
But now wait a minute,
Follicles are not
so
supposed to
see
have.
in that lock, they do have one hair. Are you guys seeing what I'm saying? That is one hair, but they kind of combed it together, and
No,
they
it ain't combed it
just
together. It locked together. So it's almost like this. How many hairs that people say that you're supposed to lose every day?
I guess like 100 or something. I don't know.
So do you think that locked people are losing the same amount of hairs? Where is it coming from? What you talking about, Willis?
Y'all awfully quiet in the chat. Why y'all leaving me hanging? Well, let's talk about some solutions here. I get you. That was kind of, I get it. I really do. Anybody else get it? Go ahead.
Oh, let me ask you a question. Let's go back to, if we can get on one point. If everybody on the chat, me and you included, right? Why did they call it a lock?
They called this a lock because you're taking the hair and you're not combing it out because it's locking from not combing the hair. You're going to form a tendril to create a new texture called a lock when I clumping the hair together.
Okay, and they all were called knotty dread. Knotty.
Correct.
K-N-O, right?
Right.
T. Okay. Now, my point in saying that is not a natural manner in which afro follicles thrive. Now, once it gets into a hairstyle, we can mitigate that, but we have to create practices that are aligned and conducive to the scalp, not because me and you trying to get in a line to Africa.
We try to get paid out here too, Cheryl. That's why I keep saying,
we can do all those things, but that's what I'm saying. When we start seeing things happen with conditions and disorders, we have to come back to the table as professionals and create a set of rules and set of do's and don'ts and set of standards and expectations and new techniques to offset it. I'm not saying don't do it, but it also, but we can't act like the client ain't getting thinner when we know they are.
Right, so let's see what's happening. Let's see.
Ooh, who can remember Big Ma telling you to go get the comb so you can scratch up the dandruff? Y'all remember that one? Get it, get it, get it.
What you talking about, Will?
Y'all knew it was coming. I was going to see how long y'all was going to stay in the chat. I know I am not the only one. I ain't going to go. That's my home. I love his. Let me show this again. Please go find.
Ooh, who can remember Big Ma telling you to go get the comb so you can scratch up the dandruff? Y'all remember that one? Get it, get it, get it.
What you talking about, Will?
Cultural practice, or you see they got a new comb made for TP Locks. I love. Please go follow him. But they got a little special comb to help get it up. I know my uncles, they used to tell me to get the comb and dig it up because, now I'm not saying, but we're talking about locks. That scalp condition is a phenomenon that we do see with people who have locks. Remember, I'm not saying other textures don't have it. The conversation today is about locks and scalps. So let's talk about, getting that stuff off the scalp. To your point, wouldn't that help? You're lifting this stuff up and you're going to help get some stuff off. Would that help the scalp?
Well, one of the things that, because I'm very funny in class, but I'm making fun of all of us, okay? Because we're supposed to separate cultural folklore, plantation methods and beliefs. And when we know better, we're supposed to do better. And that is why we're coming to the Afro Hair Summit. Because, natural hair care people say, you ain't supposed to use heat, But y'all love a hot oil treatment, don't you?
Cheryl, you know what? Hold on. I'm about to speak up for y'all. Hold on. I got a new hat. I think Cheryl, I don't know, y'all. What my African hair guy? They still cussing me out on the African hair guy page. Now I see why they cussing me out, Cheryl, because you know what? Black dollars matter, you know. And at some point in this, I'm not the only one, guys. Sure, you messing with the black dollars that matters. We need to, and I know what
So,
you're saying. We got to find a healthy way. But that scalp condition, was that a good technique to loosen it up, to do what you said? You get this woosah when the scalp is now free. And she said, don't come hating on the hot oil treatment. Help us
now,
out, Cheryl. Help us.
okay. Okay. So we all know, and see, one of the things that I love teaching and I love conversing with my black people, because they know when they doing something ridiculous. And I know that we have to separate what our grandmothers and great grandmothers and great grandpas and taught us. But that was for a time. Okay. Oil entered the black colloquialism to protect our skin from poor living conditions and pathogens and bacteria. Now, when we got in the big house, we supposed to let it go. Okay. Now, but that's a whole nother, I digress. But what I will say is when we get to the Afro hair stomach, we get to the wonders of the scalp. We are going to learn the difference between dandruff, skin peeling, and dander. Okay. Dander is usually why it looks the way it looks in that video, because dander is wet, dandruff is dry, and skin is flakes with the pores and the holes in it. Okay. And it's discolored and they're larger. Okay. But all of those is your immune system. And that's part of wound healing. Now, when you scratch the scalp, it immediately sends a message to the immune system and says, injury. And then all of the scalp sends what? Its glands start going, the blood circulation starts going, it gets red. Then you may get a little warm, it starts to inflame, and then the dandruff and dander and all the skin begins to what? Go to the injury, and it proliferates. And then you
So
scratch
you're
it.
saying this first layer here, it begins to multiply.
The gland material, remember, liquid is transmitters, it's messages, it's secretions, and over proliferation of it begins to show up on the scalp. And then guess what you guys do? You scratch it off again, and then it begins to do it again. So when at the Afro Hair Summit, we will learn how to allow the skin to do its job. You guys cannot go in there and be moving that scalp, because if you do, scalp is part of the skin, which is part of um, the wound healing. It's a part of the immune system. Okay. And then it has glands, it has pores, it has all types of ducts. And then we go from there. And we must learn how to make sure that we mitigate some of those conditions and disorders. You on mute, sis.
New hat, and we're going to wrap this up here. So we got some solutions. What about this as a solution for the scalp? Here we go.
What you talking about, Willie?
what
Okay.
about what
All right.
about that? What's the solution as we wrap this up? What's the solution? We
Put it
now
this way.
understand that we're not to do it so tight, so
Okay.
often. Let it come up a little bit. No digging at the scalp because you put it in wound healing mode. So now we have a solution.
Okay. So
Lemon
now,
juice.
good example, and I'll leave you guys with this. So you scrape yourself. You had a little boo boo right here, and so what did your mother say? Let me put a little band-aid on it, and then what does the gland material in the skin start to do, people? It will secrete a yellow looking liquid that oxidizes and turns brown. Then it gets hard. It's called a scab. A scab here is the same equivalent of dandruff. Okay? So here you guys go take the scab off. Y'all say, all right. Okay? And that's why you have to decipher the dry or versus wet. Dander is wet, usually, and a little oily. It may got a little product on it. It may be a little moist, because dandruff will fall on its own. It don't need you to scratch nothing. It's going to be on your clothes and everything, right? But dander is when you guys go in there, but you wouldn't do that to your boo-boo, right? It hurts to pull off a scab. So you wouldn't do that. So case in point, I had a friend that got her hair done, got it done. Boy, she got her hair done. I think she got a relaxer and everything. And by the time she got to Maui, that scalp said, hell no. And it had proliferated, almost like it had masticized. It just really had a really thick layer. It did not like. Now, I said to the hairstylist, where do you think you went wrong? You could have went wrong with too much neutralization with that acidic lemon juice and apple cider vinegar. You burnt the scalp because it was already inflamed from the high pH of the relaxer, or any high pH, any inflamed anything, right? But what I had to do is that I had to soap cap, and I had to leave the scalp alone. And I gave it a salt bath, an alkaline, not an acid, not a citrus, not an apple cider vinegar, because acid at that point will burn. And so it's just learning how the body works. And that's what we'll talk about at the Afro Hair Summit.
And so that example you just gave, whether the person had a relaxer or not, when the scalp is inflamed, the last thing you want to do is put lemon juice.
The last thing you want to do is move it. It doesn't want to be moved. You have to let.
Can you use lemon juice, and can you use lime juice and lemon juice on that?
Well, let me put it this way. If it's already inflamed, if lemon juice will burn the crack of your lips, you drink it too much, it'll irritate your gums. Your dentist tell you to take it easy on the lemon juice. You have to dilute it. You can't spray that stuff. Oof, I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it.
Now, if you only put lemon juice on the hair and go outside, you'll be able to dye it. It'll lighten your hair after a while because of the pH. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What also makes sense is we got a trivia. We want to know. Let me play my little. I hope I got this one right. Let's see if we have it right.
The 2023 Afro Hair Summit Trivia Question of the Day. Happy anniversary to LaDosha and Cheryl for their podcast. That's right, it's been 1 year. The question is, whose idea was it? Kilolo or Cheryl's?
The dumbest shit people say about black hair.
See you tonight in the chat. In the meantime...
You just got to show off your skills.
I gotta show off my skills. So, who in the chat? Who wants to take a bold step to say whose ideal was it to create this podcast? Was it me, Key Lolo, Ladosha Wright, who always, her name is spelled wrong, and she thinks she's always right. But as you can see tonight, I learned some stuff today. We're going to give it a few minutes to see who in the chat. As we're waiting for you guys in the chat, next week, we are going to be on the Nerve DJs. That's right. We have arrived here in Cleveland, Ohio. I reached out to Shana Sean and Johnny O, okay, and they have a platform. We're going to put that in the link. We'll put it up where you guys can click on and join us on the Nerve DJ's platform. That's going down next Monday. We won't be here. We will be on the Nerve DJ's platform, and we're going to be talking about the state of Afro hair. Is like a free-for-all. So in the meantime, who wants to put an answer in the chat? Who was it that created, who said, let's do a podcast about the dumbest that people say about black hair? Because and y'all better get this right. I don't want to see nothing going up wrong in the chat. Don't be scared now. I know y'all know who did it. I know y'all kind of scared. We gonna see what are they going to say. Sandra, I know you know who did this first. You know what I'm saying? So next week is going to be happening on the Nerve DJs. We're going to be talking about the state of Afro hair. We have a lot of issues that's happening, in the barber and beauty industry. And our goal, again, is to help address them, bring about some solutions, and, just try to get everybody united. And of course, like Cheryl said, we want to recalibrate the industry. So we're still waiting for an answer to come through the chat to answer who was the first one, who did this, whose ideal was it to create this podcast. So as we're waiting for that to come through, can you close us out while we're waiting for an answer? Give us some, because we, at the end of the day, when it comes to black hair, like Cheryl said, it wasn't about that you can't wear these styles. It's really about the frequency of you're doing them and understanding what's happening when you put the hair into the lock per the scalp. So we have to be more mindful and let that free form come. Also, she's saying that, when it comes to scalp care, watch out for digging on the scalp because you're going to put the scalp into wound healing mode. Right. So be careful with your digging. And don't put the lemon juice on the scalp because it can cause more irritation because the scalp is doing what it's supposed to do naturally. So don't freak out because that's the body's natural mechanism to, when it gets soil. Well, the scales and stuff is pretty normal. Don't put that lemon juice on there, but you can put it on your hair. So we do have an answer. So they said the person who said, let's do this podcast was none other than Key Lolo, coming from my girl, Sandra. And Sandra, I'm here to tell you, you're wrong. It wasn't her idea. See what happens? The ghetto girls, we always get the bad card. See what I'm saying? You always get, I'm the loud one, but it was her. She's the one that called me up. Everybody's saying Kilolo. Sorry, guys. It was
no. Let's get it right.
It was Cheryl.
She called me, sending me some links of some dumb shit that black people were saying, and she said, we got to do something. I got to do something. What we going to call? We got to do something. I said, we'll call it the dumbest shit that people say about black people's hair.
See, I wasn't talking about no podcast. I was saying we got to do something. I wasn't thinking of no podcast. I was thinking that we should just maybe get online and have a discussion about it. She was the one that said, well, let's call it a podcast and dumb shit that black people say about here. Here I go, Nia Kobe. Y'all know me. Okay. I'm all in. Let's do this like Brutus. So there you have it. We both we collaborated. You're right, Sandra. And I just wanted, y'all know I think I can save the world. I know I can. And so but I did say we have to address these issues. But I would have never thought that we would be a year later into this podcast. And we appreciate you all so very much, so to the point that we've been able to create some wonderful things together beyond the documentary. We are so honored and excited to be welcoming people from all over the world to the Afro Hair Summit, because we can say that for real and not really make this up. People really are coming from all over the world to the Afro Hair Summit. And so with that being said, Cheryl, rock us out with the closing thoughts on locks and scalp care. And next week, we're going to be over on the Nerve DJ's platform talking about the state of Afro hair in America. That is.
Mm-hmm. Very important for us to come together. I think that this is our time to come together and to treat this industry like we love it, like we can't live without it. This is our inheritance. I think that the greats, when we come together, we're going to be talking about some of the greats. We're going to be talking about some of the people who contribute and have left a legacy. And I think that we are so blessed to have it in all of our hands. As LaDosha says, you are our partners, and to be able to talk about it as it's going into the Afro future, in the Afrofuturism and into the future. And I just want to give you guys a wonderful grand thought. The start that we're talking, and the people who come on this wonderful chat, we're going to be talking about things, and people 60, 70, 100 years from now, when we are gone into the ancestors, they're going to say, thank you for those wonderful people for caring about us, that we know. We're going to write it down into the ages of time so these truths can remain solid, and science and then the future scientists, and they'll add on to that. It's just that it's going to be a good time and a good era for us to be alive and to be with each other. And so I'm excited. So I'll see you guys then. And thank you to Mr. Kafele in Brooklyn and Mr. Leroy in Buffalo, New York. People are getting involved, and they know that this is an incredible inheritance, and we got to keep it.
Yes, and a special shout out to Mr. Will Shelton. I spoke with him today, and he's going to help us out too. Mika, we need your help. So Mika, email me at ladoshaw@yahoo.com. She be banging on these YouTube streets, because we need some help, to get the word out. In the meantime, we do have some gifts. So Sister Nia Kobe and Sandra E, if you guys can email me at ladoshaw at yahoo.com. Again, email me at ladoshaw@yahoo.com. And Cheryl is going to send you guys a special gift by way of Samaro combs. You guys are going to love these gifts. And so that's coming from Cheryl. And then I'm going to toss in some samples of my moisture shampoo and conditioner, so you'll get some travel size products in the right hair care product line. And then I'm also going to send you a sample of my favorite leave-in. It's called Satin Tame. So Sandra E and Sister Nia Kobe, email me at ladoshaw@yahoo.com, and you guys are going to win your prize for answering the trivia. And so I will keep some of this Afro hair science trivia. That was kind of fun, but I'll ask it at the beginning since it takes a minute. You're welcome. You're welcome. This is what we do. It's all about love. Mika, I'm not even joking. I'm for real, Mika. Mika, I need you. See, I'm not afraid. I'm not ashamed to say I need help. My ass crazy out here anyway. Anyhow, all right, guys, we appreciate you. Please join us next week on the Nerve DJs. I'll be putting their links and all of their information as we post them up. Get the word out. The Afro Hair Science Summit is coming to Cleveland the weekend of July 15th. That's Saturday, July 15th through Monday, July 17th. The tickets are going to be on sale when we launch the website, and we're working on that website. Give us a couple more weeks, and you guys can get ready. In the meantime,
more days.
Yes, save a couple more days, she said, okay? And save the date in the meantime and spread the word like Thunderbird. Mika, we need to get on. We want to get on them pseudo killers. Mika know all the right people on social media. You know what I'm saying? Oh, go check out African Hair Guide. I said I was going to show them some love. They still cussing me out. Check out African Hair Guide. Go check out TP Locks, and then also go check out the young lady. I forgot her name right quick. With the here, let me get her name. I want to give her a shout out because I'll be asking them, can I use your videos and showing them some love because they always help us out. That's TP. Her name is Cynthia Area, and that's the one. She's right here on YouTube, Cynthia Area. Go check her channel out. She likes to give all types of hair care tips, and then TP Locks has some wonderful snips. Oh, and Texture Talks. Cheryl introduced me to Texture Talks. They do these wonderful snippets, and we're going to share some of their content on our platform. They're out of the UK. Texture Talks. Please follow these people. They are absolutely wonderful. Again, African Hair Guide, TP Locks, Cynthia Area, and Texture Talks by me. You will not regret Texture Talks on everything I love. You will not regret. And Cheryl hit me onto them. All right. Okay, Mika, I want to see that email. Sister Nia Kobe and Sandra, email me at ladoshaw@yahoo.com. In the meantime, let me get my other hat. Y'all know I got another hat. Put my hat back on. I want to put my song to the song. I want to ride because I don't know the words. All right, guys, you know what I say when we're always signing out? Cheryl, you know, we always, the both of us, we always say we're talking about a whole lot of peace, for sure, a whole lot of love, and most certainly a whole lot of hair. But check this out. We do understand you ain't got no hair. You don't want no hair. Hell, you can't even, I can't stand no hair. We feel you. You know what we say? It doesn't really matter because bald heads, all heads, bald patches, all that's beautiful too. And so are you. We appreciate you guys from the bottom of our heart. We'll see you next week on the Nerve DJs as we talk about the state of Afro hair in America.
Uh-oh.